Well, 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 here we are again. Just when you thought it was safe to log in to look at your results, you see my ugly mug on the face again. And the reason for that is BS of the Week is actually back. We're back for another season, a new look. But before we move on, I think it's only right and proper that I thank Patrick Driggett for the amount of work that he did in helping me put all this together in the first instance. Now, Patrick, we might just forgive you for moving on to pastures new. And if you're a really good boy, we might even invite you back onto the show at some future stage. But as they say in good old showbiz terms, the show must go on. So after an awful lot of negotiating, most of it done on the 7th or 8th pint at the live draft, we have managed to secure the services of a brand new co-host. So let me introduce him to you. You all know him. He's a friend of the show, Mr. Chris Weeks. Welcome to BS of the Week, Chris.
Thank you, Kev. That was a bit long-winded there, mate, to be fair.
Yes, all right.
And it didn't take 7 or 8 points. It took more like 4 or 5.
Oh, all right. Okay. Is that what we're telling the missus, yeah?
Yeah, that's exactly right, yeah. So now, unfortunately, they get 2 ugly mugs for the price of 1.
That's right, mate. That's right. Well, welcome to the show, Chris. Lovely to have you here, mate. And thanks for agreeing to take part in it. What we're gonna do is this one's really a 2-part show. To be quite honest, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at pre-season, what clubs did, what the franchises did in the off season, analyze where we think that puts them now. And we're going to basically split it so that we do the PFC conference this week, and next week we're going to move on and do the LFC conference. Okay, so without further ado, Chris, would you like to start us off, mate, by having a look at your own division, the PFC East?
All right, yeah. Well, this probably won't take that long because I'm not going to talk about me very much because I'm going to be a cellar dweller, so I don't think I'm really important in this conversation at all. Not this season. So we'll start off with Phil's Rapiers. Yeah, great season last season. 8-2. Looked like they were going all the way at one point. And I don't think much will change. To be fair, I think he's the force to beat in the PFC East. I mean, in terms of what he's done in the off season, not that much. He didn't do much trading. He did have a nice draft. He's picked up a level 8 inside linebacker quality. But you know, it's normal services resumed. To be honest, with Phil is Pogue, Galloway. Can't see much changing. Like I say, he didn't do a lot in the off season. So now he's being chased by the Generals. Of course, we have a new coach to welcome, Eban, or I'm not sure it's Eben or Eben. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'll be perfectly honest. So he'll have to tell us that. And he's taken over from Alex, who we've lost. He's moved on from the Generals. And of course, he's getting a very good team, hooker and all. Again, not a lot of trading going on there. Didn't do a lot in the off season other than the draft. And probably only really worth talking about his first round pick, where he went for a quick defensive end. After that, he didn't have many picks, 4th and 5th round. And it's all to play for in the division there. His hardest game is probably going to be the Packers, yeah, and the Rapiers themselves, you know. So, I mean, he was, well, I say Alex was 7-3. If Eben can get anywhere near that, then he'll be doing well. So we'll wait and see. Rough Riders, Pete's team, had quite a nice draft, to be fair, Pete. Didn't do a lot of trading again. I'll talk a little bit about his draft because I should say he was 4-6 last season, so he's coming back. He's improving again. Yeah, so he'll come again this season, I think. In terms of his draft, round 1, level 7, 80 quick quality receiver. Round 2. Now this was a great pickup in round 2, and it's exactly what he needs against the Rapiers. He took cornerback 1, level 8, yeah, with 75 technique. Yeah, so he's out to try and stop that short game of the Rapiers. You know, that was a really good pick in the second round. Round 3, inside backer, level 6 quality, 65 technique. Round 4, outside backer, level 5, 70 strength. Yeah, with 5 technique, so we know what he's trying to do there. Yeah, pretty good, solid draft, to be fair. So those are the 3 contenders in the division. And then there's me, who basically I've got an all-star rookie team. Yeah, I will not compete this year, and I will probably not compete maybe till the end of next year. Yeah, did a bit of trading, quite happy with my draft, but you know, there won't be much improvement this season, I'm afraid. So that sums up the PFC East. Yeah.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Okay, so moving on, PFC North. Rivets 10-0 last season. So the $64,000 question is: anybody going to beat them this season? Will they finish 10-0 again? And I'm afraid my answer is going to be yes, they will. You know, and people say, why on earth are they going to finish 10-0, or why are they going to do so well? Because surely aging has got to catch up at some stage. But the problem is that we guys, and I include myself in this as well, we continually trade with them. And whilst we're trading with them, we're helping him plug up any sort of, I can't see for here, mate. What's it say?
Is it too far away?
Yeah, it's too far away. What does it say? Read it out to us, mate. Don't trade with Conrad. Yeah, yes. Well, it's basically he has 0 picks next season, none whatsoever. He has, I think, the first 3 of the following season. So if we don't trade with him, he's going to start to struggle. To give you an idea, he has 34 of his current rosters are all traded people, and 7 of those are age 2, 3, 4, or 5. So in other words, they're not old guys. So we've given them the foundation to actually keep on going. Why do we do that? Well, basically, he's a bloody nice guy. And if you trade with him, as I have done in the past, I'm guilty as charged, he gives you a damn good trade. It's a very fair trade, but we've really got to make up our minds. If we want Conrad knocked off his perch, it's very simple. We don't trade with him. Sorry, Conrad. But you know, that's the way it is. Looking at his schedule, he does have one of his toughest games is actually the pre-season game against the Hornets, but he's got a tough game in week 9 where he plays the Packers. So that will be his real toughie of the season. Moving on, Scott Kramer's Maroons, 7-3 last season. I think I'm right in saying that he's the only team not to add a single rookie to his roster. He didn't add any players at all. He's got 2 in the development squad, but none at all in the playing squad. So he's got no rookies available to play. So basically, it's obviously a consolidation period season for Scott. He's got 14 coaches working flat out on a team that are an average age of 3.59, and his actual starting team is average age of 4.95. So does Scott think this year could be his year? Well, possibly. We shall see. Basically, he's not got an easy schedule, but he plays the Rivets twice, so that's never going to be easy. And he also plays the Eagles, Titans, and the Stormers. And of course, he has to play the Surfers in his own division. So it's not an easy season, but my prediction is that he's going to do exactly the same he did last season and end up probably 7-3. That's what I would predict for him. Gary Stevens Surfers, 6-4 last season. Oh my goodness. I have no idea how the heck I can sum up Gary's off-season and his draft, other than to say that it was absolutely manic. That lad worked his socks off during the postseason to make changes. To let you know what I'm talking about, he made 26, yes, 26 draft picks, of which only 3 were traded. 18 of them have made it onto his playing roster, and 3 are onto his development squad. And he only actually cut 2 out of that whole 26. Unbelievable. So I've got to say that probably Gary was exceptionally pleased with his draft. And he also has a ton of draft picks for next year as well. So he hasn't traded his future in. He's got a great coaching staff of 13. And they're going to be mighty busy this season training up all those rookies. This looks like it could well be a building or rebuilding year and a development season for Gary. So I predict this could be his first losing season since season 30. He's always had a winning season going all the way back to season 30. But I think this could just break that mold a little bit. So what are Jeff's Bombers? And Jeff's Bombers last won a game in week 2 of season 33. So could this be the year, Jeff? Well, like Gary, Jeff looks as if he's in a rebuilding phase. Made 15 draft picks, traded 1 of them, and he's added 12 new players onto his roster and 1 on the development squad. And what Jeff's also done is he's committed 190 MPS on his coaching staff. So he's gone quite seriously into the coaching side. And once he finds slots for the 3 coaches who are without portfolio at the moment, he should have a very, very solid base for coaching the players up. Not got the easiest schedule, but he could get away with a win an away win in week 7, and we shall see. But we're all keeping our fingers crossed. So basically, Jeff, keep on keeping on. Everyone's rooting for you, mate. So that basically sums up the Ribbits division, as it were. So, Chris, what's happening in the PFC South, mate?
All right. Okay. Well, the South is owned at the moment, as you well know, by Andy Bate and the Eagles. Last season, 9-1. And to be fair, again, you can't really see much changing there, to be honest. I know that Miranda's starting to pick up some momentum. She's improving, she's getting better. The team's getting better. But in terms of his own division, you can't see anything but Andy, not at the moment. What was he up to? Oh, he's got the Giant Hornets to play, and he's got the Rapiers to play, So, last season 9-1, he's going to be similar again this season. It could be 8-2, 9-1 again, you would say. In the draft, round 1, he took inside linebacker, level 8, quality, 80 technique, with attributes showman and trash talker. So that was a very nice pickup in the first round, because he picked quite early. I think it was 4 or 5 he traded for there. So he got one of the top players. And then round 2, he took a cornerback, level 5, 70 quickness, peripheral vision. We all like that one. Rounds 3 and 4, a couple of defensive tackles, and a level 4 punter. Can't see much change. To be honest, he's got the same players as last season coming back. His key player is, I don't know how you pronounce it, Guthria, 1,300 yards, 16 TDs. He's back. He's got 2 defensive ends. Both had 12 sacks each. So you can't stop that side of the game with him. And he even got away with trading one of his top receivers, Liak. He traded him to the Bucks. So it's all looking very good for Andy, to be honest. So we'll move on from Andy, and then we'll go to Zane's Devils. Now, he finished 1-9 last season. I'm not surprised at all because I had a really good look at his roster, before he took the team on, and there was just nothing to work with. It had to be a complete rebuild. So he was a very brave man taking on the Devils in the first place, because there was just nothing there. Yeah. And this draft, he traded away all of his picks. He'd only got picks in round 7 and 8. Did a bit of trading, and it's clear what he was looking for because he took 2 inside linebackers from the Packers and another one from the Titans. So he'd obviously got a major hole there that he had to fill. So that was part of the trading there. He took a guard and a cornerback in trades. And he traded a very good receiver to the Statesman. So obviously, I mean, only he knows what he's got and what his needs were, but he had a clear need at inside linebacker, and hopefully that'll help him this season. Apart from that, not a lot to talk about really. As I say, he didn't do much in the draft and didn't do much trading other than the ILBs. Next, we go to the Trinity Bulldogs, right? Who, I mean, that last season 5-5, a very creditable 5-5 for Miranda. Yeah. Now she's a bit stymied with the games that she's got. Yeah. So I don't know how far she can improve when she's got the Rivets, the Eagles twice, obviously. She's got the Generals, she's got the Rushmores, and she's got the Rough Riders. Yeah. So how far can she push? Can she get 6 wins, 7 wins? I don't know. Her schedule's pretty awful. And oddly enough, she was 5-5, but she had some great players last season. She had some great performances. Quarterback Ethel, 3,000 yards. Yeah. Running back Dancy, 1,300 yards. Wide receiver Malone, 2,000 yards. Yeah. So she's got the tools on offense. Yeah. But, and this is where it gets really interesting. I mean, she had a defensive end, Wise, had 22 sacks, right? In the draft, she had 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. Yeah. And again, she's gone all out. She's obviously got holes stopping the run because she's gone all out in terms of inside linebacker in the first round, level 9 elite. Yeah. First overall pick, so you're expecting that. Yeah. She took a defensive end, 60 strong. She took level 7 cornerback, 70 quickness. Yeah. Round 2, again, defensive end, strong. Yeah. Outside linebacker, strong with 5 technique. Yeah. Quality. Yeah. There's a major theme here for Miranda about stopping the running game, because then, and this is where it gets really wild, the trades. Yeah. Now, when I say that most people haven't done a lot of trading of the people I've mentioned so far, yeah, Miranda's trades, 17 players out and 15 players in. Now, when you bear in mind, you get 4 trades before the actual draft, and then 4 trades after the draft, yeah, there's been a movement of 32 players here. Yeah. She must have been tied in on every trade that there was throughout the whole league. Yeah, it's just fascinating. Yeah, she had 3 defensive tackles, a couple of outside linebackers, a couple of receivers, cornerbacks, safety, a quarterback, an offensive tackle. Yeah, just absolutely bonkers. If you go through the trade list, it's just every other line is the Trinity Bulldogs. Yeah. But kudos to her. She's really going for it. She's really pushing the boundaries in terms of not only what she did in the draft, but what she's done trading wise. It'll be really interesting to see how her season goes, because she's made some serious moves.
I'm certainly not looking forward to playing her, let's put it that way.
No, No, I mean, obviously they've all got to be coached up. I know she's brought in with the trade. She's brought in some, veterans and stuff. But yes, it's going to be. It'll be as interesting as Gary's, to be honest, to watch to see how that develops. But then we move on to the exact opposite end of the scale, which is Ambrose. Now, Ambrose's Yorkshire Warriors finished 2-8 last season, and no trades, not a single trade. The Warriors. So I can't. I mean, his draft. He had no trades in the draft. They were all his own picks. Yeah, so he was 1 through to 8 with his draft picks. When I looked at his roster, there wasn't a lot to talk about. Offensively, he's really struggling. So with his first round, he took a 60 quickness level 9 running back, and you can understand why, because offensively he just hadn't got much going on at all. Yeah, and he seems to have gone through. I don't know whether he was picking himself or whether he was on auto pick or what, because he just seems to have picked the highest level players at particular positions through the draft. Yeah, round 1, obviously 60 quickness running back. Yeah, round 2, level 9, 55 quick defensive end. Yeah, well, level 9 round 2. So it's not to be sniffed at. I mean, I know it's 55 quickness is sort of, it's not the elite quickness that you look for, but stick him on the development squad, get him up to 60. Yeah, and he's already at level 9. Round 3, level 7 returner. Yeah, but everybody tends to go for quick returners, and he's gone for a 70 technique one. I don't know. I really genuinely don't know if that's good or bad. Yeah, having a 70 technique returner. So I don't know. I can't make my mind up with that one. And then he just level round 4, level 6, round 5, level 5, round 6, level 5, round 7, level 4. It's just verbatim. It's just what you'd expect, really. He took the best players available. Well, that's how it appears anyway. In terms of his schedule, again, it's not kind. He's got the Packers, Eagles twice, the Generals, Rough Riders. So only Ambrose knows what he's got and how his season's likely to pan out. But if he gets 3 or 4 wins, he'll have done well. I believe with the schedule he's got. And that sums up the South.
Okay, well done. Thanks, Chris. Okay, so look at the West then. Basically, last season the Packers 9-1. So Tom Packers, basic sort of what I would say is a conservative stroke steady draft, 9 draft picks. 1 of them traded away, 7 added to the playing roster, and 1 on the development squad. So absolutely no wastage there. So therefore, I guess Tom must be happy with his drafts. As I say, he's utilised every single one of them. He's got a solid backroom coaching staff. A toughish but not an impossible schedule. He's got games. The tough games he's got outside the division are basically the Rivets, the Generals, and the Statesmen. But again, it's quite possible for Tom to finish with a 9-1 season, and I think he may well do exactly that and be back in the playoffs. But as I say, a few tough games in there, but a steady progress, I would say, for Tom's team, throughout the off season. Mark Stormers, who last season were 6-4, I am very, very worried about. I'm not sure if everything is okay there. The Stormers were the only team in the Big Sky to miss the cut altogether. They didn't cut any players off their roster, and it had to be done by the GMs. Also, being at the live draft, I don't remember him being active at all in the draft, so I'm not sure whether he had auto picks or whether somebody was picking for him. I've just got a feeling that not everything is right there. So, Mark, if you're listening to this, always very quiet, reach out to us. We're all here to help, mate. We hope everything is okay, but it seemed a little bit inactive recently. So hopefully that will pick up before the season starts. James Allen's Titans had a very, very, very busy off-season as we at the draft know. James was also proxying for somebody, so he was never off the flaming Zoom. He had 16 draft picks himself, but not only that, half of them he traded away. So not only did he pick them, he then traded them all away. And of the 8 rookies that were left, 6 of them made it into his squad, and 2 of them onto his development roster. So again, it looks like all that work, not a single wasted draft pick. So it looks like it's been a good preseason for James. We were amazed when we were actually at the draft, just what was going on. He's also got one of the biggest coaching rosters in the Big Sky. He's got 15 active coaches, and he's got a further 4 who are coaches without portfolios. We've got a total of 19 coaches there. So obviously there's going to be a heck of a lot of coaching going on. He's got a tough start to the schedule. His first game is against the Eagles in week 1. So welcome to the new season. And his second game is against the Packers. But unlike last season where he was 4-6, I think he could reverse that. And this season, I think he could probably be around about a 6-4, 6-4, something like that. And then we've got, last but not least, we've got Don's Huskies. Despite last season 1-9, I think Don seems to be feeling his way into the game in a pretty sensible manner, really, to be quite honest. Made 6 draft picks, 1 traded, and the rest have all been added to his roster. He's some good early round picks for next season as well. So he's building up his defense as well with the picks that he's picked. He's getting a bit stronger defense. So all in all, things are moving in the right direction, I feel. And looking at the schedule, I'm going to say that he's going to improve on his 1-9, and I think he could go as far as 3-7 this season. Still got work to do, obviously, but I do think we're progressing in the correct direction. So all being well, things should go a bit better this season for Don. Hope so, because he seems to be adding to the game, should we say. So that is the final division within the round. Who's going to win the PFC then?
You can only come up with one name. Is it no matter how hard you think about it? It's
yeah,
it's
just about impossible, isn't it, to look past that?
The consistency is just unbelievable.
Yeah,
to do it season in, season out, game after game after game. I mean, yeah. I don't think this season he'll go undefeated. Yeah. I think that's too much to ask. I don't think that will happen. I think he's going to lose somewhere along the line. Yeah. But it's whether or not it's in the playoffs. That's the question. Does he lose in the playoffs?
Yeah. Well, you've got to say the Packers and probably the Eagles are the 2 biggest ones in the divisional. Sorry, in the conference. That might upset him, but we shall see. Anyway, that, sir, is our review of the PFC. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to be back again next week, and we're going to have a look at the LFC. But before we do that, you had an idea that you'd like to share with the community, mate.
Yeah, well, before we finish though, we must talk about Popgate. We must mention Popgate before we leave this evening, because there's been words said. Yeah, so the idea that I've had, that I'd really like people to take on board, and I'm going to contact each coach. I'll send out an email. Yeah, and I've set up a WhatsApp group for Big Sky, and anybody's welcome. Obviously, it means that you've got to share your telephone number. Yeah, that's unavoidable, but it'll only be me that's got it. Yeah, I'm not expecting to just send it willy-nilly. But if you do that, then we'll be able to speak on WhatsApp, and anything that needs to be done a little bit quicker. Yeah, this is an idea that Kev and I both had at the live draft, because what we realized was we were staying in different hotels, and a little bit more communication and we could have all stayed together, which would have been far better, far easier, and sort of more in the spirit of things. So that was the idea. The idea stemmed from that, but we'd like to extend it to everybody. But beyond that, what we'd really like is for coaches to make an introductory video of themselves. Not very long, 1 or 2 minutes, just to say who you are, who you coach, whereabouts in the world you live, and anything you'd like to share with us. Anything, not personal stuff, just, maybe what your favorite NFL team is, if you've got one, anything that you think's relevant, and that people might be interested in.
Yeah, what your aspirations are this season, what you expect to do, etc., all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
basic stuff, and it's just to put a face to the name, to make it more inclusive, rather than just seeing our ugly mugs every week. I mean, obviously, there'll be guests, but beyond guests, we'd just like to sort of touch base with everybody. Yeah, so that's the idea. So I will be messaging you and asking you if you're prepared to do that.
That's brilliant, Chris. Thanks very much indeed. Well, I'm going to wrap it all up. Thank you all for watching the first episode of the new season. Several things to look at. Obviously, make sure you've got your 4 green ticks. Make sure you put faces to all your new roster, giving them names, etc., etc. Make sure your coaching is all up to date. And we will, with any luck, see all you guys this time next week. So from myself and from Chris, cheers.